wealth manager here in Ottawa. You also have your Rational Reminder podcast, which is kind of the podcast extension of what you cover on your channel. And for those who haven't stumbled upon your YouTube channel, it's a lot of research. One thing I like about your content is all of your videos kind of throw in like at least a handful of research papers talking about what academics and what researchers have found about different investment strategies, about markets over different time periods. And so it makes for a really informed conversation about different topics. You know, you can talk about the theoretical as much as you'd like, but having the numbers there makes for a really interesting conversation. And for those sharp-eyed viewers who have been with us for a while, you might know that this is our second collaboration, if you will. We did one way back when. When we were both kind of smaller channels.
Yeah.
On the Grossman-Stiglitz paradox, which
The world within these walls was inconceivable. A horror house of sexual abuse and international sex trafficking.
I was abused by people that I can't even mention here. There's a lot of scars hidden behind those walls. It should be ripped down. It should be burned to the ground. Some of my worst memories are from this place.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Jeffrey Epstein led a privileged life. His extraordinary wealth on show around the world. He had his own fleet of planes, a private island, ranches.
And I felt really trapped at times, but I didn't know how to escape. And I know a lot of people are probably hearing this and thinking, I'm also in that place. And so I really feel like my purpose is to help as many people to go from feeling trapped to freeing themselves and using money to do that. Wasn't expecting that.
Okay, so people are hungry for easy money tips, and these stay the same regardless of how much you earn. So we could talk about the Peace of Mind Fund, and doing that puts you ahead of 59% of Americans. Then there's building your emergency buffer. And this does more for your emotional well-being than earning over 200K. But with the way cost of living is going, you cannot save your way to retirement. So this is when you want to move on to investing. That is the easiest way to make money. And my principle with investing is very, very simple, and it's just...
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like it when I ask you to subscribe at the start of these conversations.
I told everybody. I just spent 3 days with this violent white supremacy group and a 19-year-old led carbine training, and it was good. They could get the drop on a lot of average Joes.
Yeah, that's a good segue into the active shooter stuff. So we were talking about downstairs. Well, I guess we're rolling now. We were talking about some of the active shooter instructor stuff that you do with Alert. And like, again, man, unfortunately, this stuff is happening more and more regularly. And people think that it's never going to happen to them. They're in a small town, and it does. Yep. But so what do you recommend to people, I guess, you know, a couple different scenarios, maybe like an adult in a public place, small grocery store. What do you recommend for them in terms of how to protect themselves against an active shooter? And then we'll get into like a kid in a school.
So one of the main things we teach, and again, Alert kind of, or FBI married Alert, however you want to look at it, in 2013. And
60 Minutes. No matter the ultimate outcome of Donald Trump's face-to-face dialogue with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, just getting the meeting to happen is a significant achievement for the US president. It's clear Trump is not without talents. On his home front, he's been particularly adept in his ability to endure scandal. In the last 5 years, the president's faced 91 felony counts, 4 criminal indictments, 2 impeachment trials, and in a civil case, has been found liable for sexual abuse. Yet last November, a majority of Americans still voted for him to lead them. Now, though, there are chinks in Trump's armour. The reason is his bumpy handling of the so-called Epstein files, evidence that may or may not exist about
place to look for answers was starting with the victims. Welcome to part 2.
My understanding of who Ted Safranco was at the time I invested was an experienced trader.
He's a master trader with relationships like this all over the world, and he was internationally known and respected.
Very credible Wall Street trader. I know that's bad to, judge a book judge a book off of their cover, but, he just looked like, like a normal guy, like a Wall Street trader, he didn't seem like the type of guy that would mess you over.
But looking into his real past, everything showed the opposite. He didn't work on Wall Street. He got his start in 2016 when he was the student of a 23-year-old get-rich-quick guru on Instagram named Nino Koroff. We know this because of a testimonial he filmed.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ted. I've been working around right now with Nino for probably about 6 months. Really
40 hours a week, so 80 hours every 2 weeks.
Say, that would have been insanity.
80 hours every 2 weeks.
We had payroll come in of $1,646.
I am making more at a low-costed hotel than I am at a fancy restaurant building.
But that would be about $2,426 before taxes.
I'm making about $2,000 a month roughly right now.
So you're not working a full 40.
I am.
Math is not mathing.
How?
Okay. You said 14 an hour, right?
Yeah.
Times 40. Times that by 4. 2,240. You say you're making 2,000 before taxes. Where's the mysterious 240 going? Are you being underpaid? Is there anything funky going on? Are you getting exactly 40 hours?
It would be sometimes like 38, sometimes 40, sometimes I'll skip